Hello and welcome to the Leeds That podcast. I'm James and I'm with Rocco Dean.
Hello.
And Darragh Cunningham.
Hello there.
That was in no particular order, by the way. There's no preference. I'm not the preference. Rocco, you're not second, and Darragh, you're probably first. So, yeah, lovely to see you both. It's been a while. We were just saying we probably haven't done a podcast together since December.
Something like that. Yeah.
I don't know why the calendar's been against us, but yeah. Before we get into the Millwall draw and the other Coventry game that we've missed as well, I think special thanks to Bass & Bligh, sponsors of the podcast, purveyors of the best camera gear in all the land. I actually have a camera from Bass & Bligh at the minute. It's very good. I'm very pleased. It's a Fuji, an XT2. It's a slightly older model, but very good. So don't discount the fact that older cameras can't get you great quality photos and video as well. So they do loads of used gear. Rocco, come on, give some brands. You're normally good at this. I say good, Pentax. You say Pentax. Yeah.
Zyka, Zyka, Lice.
That sounds like an illness.
It's like a Zyka Lice, lovely.
Leica,
Zeiss, Swarovski binoculars. They do Panasonic Lumix.
Sony,
Nikon, Fuji, all the good stuff. Loads of used gear that you get with a warranty. And I think there's £10 off when you sign up to their email mailing list at the minute. So go there. That's bassandbligh.com. And they're on
6 Taylor Street
in Harrogate.
In Harrogate.
Way. Good stuff. Right, so we'll be talking about the transfer window. We've got 2 matches that we've probably got to glide over. Well, one in particular we've got to glide over, and the running and the Watford preview. So, disappointing result for Leeds fans against Millwall yesterday. A chance for a lot of people that are on the members list who can't get tickets to go to the game, which I feel even more sad for them. The fact that a lot of people that probably don't get to go to the games as much than see an absolutely appalling one, which is Leeds that, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a bad one. It started bad for me because, in fact, it started amazing. I had the most fantastic fish butty from Park Fisheries. But then, on the way to the ground, I got...
They don't sponsor us, by the way.
No, but I will always plug them because they're the best, just like Bass & Bligh. I got caught up in the Millwall escort. About 1,000 really? Millwall fans, walking, being marched to the ground from town, I believe. Long walk for them. Got caught right up in it, and it was a bit hairy actually. There was not enough police. If anyone wanted anything to happen, it could have been pretty bad. So we had to wait for them to sort of get out of the way and be marched around the ground, which they were taking like the north side instead of the like south side down Elland Road for some reason. Made me miss 5 minutes there of the game.
It's unusual for it not to be like heavily policed, the Millwall game, because usually there's a lot there, isn't it?
Well, it was heavy, but not heavy enough. If it would have properly kicked off, it was thankfully just all bravado. But yeah, I'd bought tickets behind Farkas. I was literally like right next to him, like 2 rows back, right behind the Leeds dugout, looking forward to him coming out, greeting him, seeing the teams line up in front of me. It's going to be glorious. Missed it all because of those animals.
They are animals as well, aren't they? I mean, post-match, there's been plenty of statements that alleged tragedy chanting of Kevin Spate and Christopher Loftus, so it's not good. It's like, we don't want to see it. We don't do it.
I think it's so easy to fix. It's unbelievably easy. So like, they've come out and they've given this statement, and police are going to waste their time. I mean, it's not even a crime they can say what they want. It's not a crime. They're going to go through CCTV and all this and whatever they're going to do to various people. Just ban Millwall fans from Elland Road. Like, it's easy.
All grounds.
Well, yeah, but don't let them come to Elland Road. Like, why are we allowing fans to come to our ground where we know they're going to do that? It's the simplest thing to stop. And if your home fans do it, just shut the ground for a game. And as soon as anyone starts singing those songs, well, then we know what's going to happen. And it'll literally stop overnight. But instead they just mess around trying to prosecute people. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's funny with tragedy chanting and other things like that, because the authorities have the power to deal with it, and they just never do. Whether it's Millwall or I was at the Vile Animals game. Leeds got pelters for that, but that was all in response to Sheffield Wednesday fans chanting Turkish songs. That's why the Leeds fans went feral. But that and the full Friday of drinking, because the match was on like Friday at 8 o'clock, which maybe wasn't the best idea. But as you say, it's different to referees and decisions. The power is there. Just utilise it. You know, if Millwall fans are coming to Elland Road tragedy chanting, particularly about other fans, you know, an issue that happened with other fans, I think that's the lowest of the low. If that happens, yeah, just ban them. Ban them from the next away game at Leeds or a behind closed doors game for a home game. Whatever. The authorities have the power to do that. And they just don't.
Yeah, completely. And that's disappointing. The result's disappointing. Pretty bad day, really. I mean, we all want to progress in the FA Cup, but it was obvious we were always going to make a lot of changes as well. We did in the last round, didn't we? And I think we didn't play particularly well in the last round either. And I thought it was probably going to go that way, and it did, unfortunately. And Farke sort of didn't blame, but said he was forced to make the rotations. There was 10 changes because of the fixture list, and you can forgive him for that when you think, you know, we've got to be putting teams away every week, which we have been doing consistently for the last however many weeks. So yeah, it's understandable, but disappointing.
Yeah, it was a really bad performance, but yeah, expected to be disjointed. Yeah, I honestly don't think Farke was that bothered. There wasn't particularly a lot of passion in the dugout during the game. I don't think there's much anyway, to be fair. It's Farke's style, but yeah, picking Giavugi at the back when he struggled so badly against Harrogate Town striker probably said a lot. I'd have rather seen De Bayo just to see what he was like. If we're going to play Giavugi, play De Bayo. So, but apart from that, I'm not really that fussed. But it's just disappointing that they were all so poor. I thought the what's his face, Sam Chambers, struggled. I know some people online have said that they thought he did well. I think he looked out of his depth. I don't think he's anywhere near getting a shot in the first team. But yeah, no one impressed. And it's not easy. You know, if Chambers would have come in and played in our proper team that played against Coventry, then yeah, maybe he'd have had more opportunity to shine. But just a very, very bad day at the office. Joseph, bloody hell, that was worrying because he is so devoid of confidence now. It was galling how bad he was. I've been a Joseph fan all season, but yeah, he's got to pick himself up somehow because, yeah, we're likely going to need him.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame on two fronts, really. I mean, as you mentioned, the first note I had on the game was it's a shame for the fans because the ones who go to it and can't usually get a ticket and go, and it's a big experience for them. And I actually have a friend of mine who brought her son to his first ever Scum game, as devastating as that was to see, and the FA Cup on Friday. And although they were crap, you know, he goes to that game, it's his first ever game, he's about 8, and they get a last-minute winner in the 93rd minute, and he's probably a Scum fan for life now. Whereas I did see pictures of some kids go to that game on Saturday, and that was their first game, and it was a 2-0 defeat to Millwall where we played absolutely terribly. Get no blame on Farke, totally get it. League is priority, 15 games to go. Absolutely the right decision to rest players. We do have a good squad as well. I think I can't dig out individual players because I think when you make that many changes, there's bound to be a bump in performance. And yeah, you can get lucky and it can all click, but you have to get very, very lucky for that. So I can't even look at individuals and say they were good, they were bad. I thought Chambers was okay, to be honest. He should have scored. He did brilliantly to make that run, and then typical Leeds finish, whacked it straight at the keeper.
Yeah.
You're right about Joseph again. I've seen a lot of stuff online about Joseph, you know, people saying he's crap and this, that, and the other. Again, it was a crap performance, but it was a crap performance by everybody. Everybody was off it. You know, I can't dig out Joseph or any one single player for it because they all were. And Ampadu in particular, now, that was not an Ampadu performance that we've seen this season or last season. But you're right, I would have probably, on the Giavogi, I would have preferred to see De Bayo. I think his substitution actually told you how much Farke wanted to win that game. You know, he just, you know, usually if he wants to win a game, he throws on every striker and we have a 1-1-8 formation. But he wasn't Irish, was he? He just didn't bother. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't think there's any positives or negatives to take from it. Like, I wouldn't write off any of the players based on that performance. The one thing I would write off is Pascal Stroke doing this stupid little stutter when he's running up. You're a centre back, you've got a great left foot, run up and smash the ball. And this is not a Scum reference, just be very clear. I'm not making 2 Scum references in the one podcast. Harry Maguire's penalty for England. No, his penalty for England in was it the Euros final where he just stepped up and buried it into the top corner. Like, that's how a centre half takes a penalty. You know, just come up and rifle it in. So, Pascal, if you have to take another one, which I imagine you're probably going to start slipping down the pecking order, just keep it simple, mate.
It says a lot, actually, that Farker didn't even watch the penalty. He was just sat in his dugout. Didn't even bother getting out to
It's just
stand
like
and
on
watch
Instagram or something, just flicking through.
Yeah, he's just scrolling.
Yeah, I mean, I hope next time Pascal Strout scores purely so we don't get any more Man United references on our podcast.
One was an England reference. One was an England reference.
Fair enough. Well played. Yeah, I mean, and prior to that, obviously, we rarely record in the week just because it's a nightmare trying to cram in multiple podcasts. But we obviously beat Coventry away 2-0, which is a fantastic result. I think every Leeds fan on X before the match was incredibly nervous. I was nervous about that fixture. It felt like that was the one we were going to slip up on potentially, it being Frank Lampard's home territory as well. So the result was very, very sweet. I was absolutely delighted with it. And it was just a really good performance. I think last season when we went to Coventry, we were just awful. We didn't show up at all. I think it was one of the worst games we had last season from memory. And so I think we were all kind of haunted by that as well. But yeah, it was a really solid display. And starting to look really, really good, aren't we? In comparison to this time last season as well, you think, we're coming in. I don't want to jinx this, but we're coming into our stride. And I just, last year Leicester faltered, didn't they, a little bit, and they had a run of games where they weren't great, but they were still a quality side all season. I still felt there was frailties in Leeds at this point last season, where there's some games, particularly against lower opposition, where we just couldn't string a pass together, but we're just dominating every game. Every game we're on top of teams, and we're in a very, very fortunate position.
Well, it all started going wrong at Watford away, so
yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
we need to be careful. I was getting carried away on Twitter after the Coventry game, even though I didn't actually even see it because I was away with work, so I couldn't watch the game.
Rocco,
I saw the highlights, and they looked so slick. Like, some of the play was just magnificent, and I mean, second half, the finishing was Leedsy. But
it could have been 8 or 10.
Yeah, tore through him.
Yeah, I mean, to follow up a 7-0 performance is never easy because, you can go at it again. But that was an excellent performance. It was every bit as good a performance as the 7-0 against Cardiff, minus the final finish. I know a few people said it was the final ball into the box as well, but it wasn't that, because we had chances. Like, we were making the chances. I thought a few players were a bit off it. Like Dan James, as much as I love him, he had probably his worst game of the season. His decision-making was poor.
I thought he had it in for someone in the stand. He was like smashing the ball pretty high into the stand a lot of the time, wasn't he?
Except for that one where he chipped into the keeper's hands. That was just a strange one. He should have whacked that one. When he chipped it into the keeper's hands.
Well, the way he sort of let that fall across his body, like he's done a number of times this season as well. It was almost like trademark Dan James. You thought he's going to bury this, and he didn't. But there we are. Yeah,
there was another one of them. The one where Peru had the ball 6 yards out and he stopped. And it's just him with the keeper, and you're like, why is he teasing the keeper here? You evil Peru. And then he hit it straight at the keeper. I was like, never seen him do that before. Like, in fairness, the Peru goal I thought was excellent, actually, because and I even put it on Twitter, that's why I want Peru up front and not pressing and running around the pitch like Bamford or Joseph does. Like, that ball, I think it was played into us. I think Rodon maybe headed out, one touch off Solomon, and Peru was there up front, not running around. He's exactly where you want him to be, and he buries it. And that's what I want our strikers to do. Yes, there's other strikers who'll run around and press and give us more kind of in-game action, back at the goal, all that stuff. But Peru is just an absolute finisher, and he proves it right there. That was a quintessential Peru goal. Bogle, another good goal too. Turns into Ronaldo, yeah. I was going to say, I was trying to think, don't say it, another scum reference, don't say it. But we meant R9, obviously.
There's a guy in my team when I was a kid who had a habit of doing that, just wandering through players, but he had no skill whatsoever, and it was just like pure luck. And everyone was sort of watching with the ball, just gliding through. Like, how has he come out the other end of this? That was what it was like with Bogle. I thought, how has he still got the ball here? But yeah, keeper fumbled it and blasted it in the back of the net. It was a great goal, actually. Yeah, very, very happy. I was happy for him. I think At the
It's
start of
funny
the
you
season.
mention that, actually, because there's a few players like that where you have players you know yourself, like your mates, so you totally underestimate. I remember I was a manager of a team when I was in my mid-20s. Like, my centre-back couldn't kick snow off a rope, but he was a brilliant tackler, header, like he won everything. But five-a-side, he used to dribble past me as if I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I just started laughing every time he did it.
Yeah, that's what I was like with this
you don't
guy
have
as
this
well.
skill. How are you doing this?
yeah, exactly that. But yeah, I think we were all a bit critical of Bogle at the start of the season, weren't we?
Can
as
I
well?
complain
Oh,
about a referee, please?
Of course you can.
Oh,
You normally praise referees, though, don't you, Rocco?
God, I'm normally very tolerant of referees, but that offside decision, I just cannot believe it. And again, like it's not even. I mean, the offside. It's the decision itself is bad enough, obviously, because he's a yard onside and the ball's already in. But the way they came to that decision, I mean, how could it happen? How could that happen? I've never seen it apart from 1975, Bremner, offside when Lorimer scores in the European Cup final, and everyone gives a goal, and then suddenly everyone's asking for offside, and then actually, we'll just give offside. Just unbelievable. How can they be so incompetent? It just boggles my mind.
Yeah, it wasn't. To be fair, that wasn't the only bad decision he'd made. There was a few really bad tackles that he let go as well. It was another strange refereeing performance. I actually, one of the reasons I want to get the hell out of this league so badly is to get away from these refs. I know the ones in the Premier League aren't much better. VAR is absolutely soul destroying, but we have to get away from these refs. I mean, that decision was shameful. But actually, another one to bring up while James is logging back in, you might have some internet issues. 2 and 1 particularly unbelievable saves from Mr. Meslier. And when you look at the mistake their keeper made, and ironically, I think we've had at least 3 or 4 clangers from other opposition keepers since Mellier's last clanger against Blackburn, which kind of just shows the standard of keeping in the Championship. Not that it's poor, but just it's a tough position to play and people make mistakes. Yeah. But that save against Sims, where he got it was not Sims. I'm getting my games mixed up. Yeah, it was Sims. Yeah, it's Coventry. Yeah. That one down low was absolutely incredible.
It was up there with the best we've seen of him. It's again, perfect thing for it to happen for him. Like, it's just exactly what he needs. And the one that came off the bar as well. I mean, I had to watch it a few times before realising that he did save it. Doing the world of good, those 2 saves. Really, really good. Delighted for him.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, Meslier was fantastic against Coventry. Yeah, good timing as well, the amount of stick he's had. And nice to see their keeper fumble something as well. And that makes it all a bit better for Meslier as well. And I noticed the club straight after final whistle were tweeting, Xing about Meslier as well. They kind of know that there's a job to be done to bring some positive sentiment in there, particularly when in the transfer window a lot of people were still crying out for another goalkeeper as well. So, yeah, it was good that they got behind him.
Rightfully so. I know, saying that Meslier is he's no Mark Beanie, is he, James? Transfer window, what you make of it? We didn't bring anyone in. Cameron Archer was mentioned. You were convinced that we were going to sign him. I stayed strong. I knew we weren't. That was a typical Leeds. Wait till and then go for a player you can't get. So what you make of it?
Well, I was disappointed. I got myself all excited about Archer. Thought it was a good one to go for. Thought it'd happen. I suppose we were hoping that various things would fall in place for it to happen. Disappointed, but I'm not going to cry about it. I agree with all the stuff Farker was saying, all his explanations that it's hard to improve our squad. And I always look at the players that, have moved and, whether we should have got them. And I don't particularly think we should have done for anyone. I don't have a lot of knowledge about these players, but I'm not that bothered. And the main thing for me is that the club have earned our trust. I mean, we've said all season that the department, people who buy players, heads gone blank. The recruitment team have been incredible, for 2 years actually. And, they've gone out and they've found gems as well. They've found players like Tanaka and Gruev. So, if they weren't able to find somebody in the positions that Farker wanted, well, I'm willing to say fair enough. They're not incompetent. They've proved that they are competent. So if they've made the decisions that anyone that could get wouldn't help us or be value for money, then I'm fine.
Yeah, I think we can't complain about it because the recruitment's been spot on. It's one of those ones, isn't it, where if it pays off and we get promotion, it'll have been the right decision because we'll have saved money and we'll be shopping in a bigger transfer market with better players to choose from to keep us up in the Premier League. The problem is, we're Leeds and we're scarred and we've been there before and we've dropped out of contention in the last minute. So you always have that fear. But I have to just say, Farke we trust. It's one of those ones. And probably the 7-0 win probably didn't help in that, you're coming off the back of that and you're going, we don't need anyone. We don't need anyone. I probably would have liked one reinforcement, whether that was maybe a Brereton Diaz or a Tom Cannon. I wouldn't have minded even just making sure that someone else didn't get them, which obviously Sheffield United did. And I don't think they would have been on massive wages. But, I'll take it.
Maybe he wouldn't have come, though. If he's got the chance to go to Sheffield United and maybe playing in the Premier League or come to Leeds where he's going to sit behind Peru and, he's got Joseph there as well and pretty much knows that we're going to get rid of him in the summer. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's always a bit deeper and you just don't know. He could have come and been useless. I always go back to Gary McSheffrey and you're wearing the right shirt for this. Gary McSheffrey signing in League One on the end of the window and I was like, just over the moon, just thought that was it. We're up now. We've got McSheffrey. And he was absolutely terrible. And, we went on a, won in 12 games or something, lost our 14-point lead. So, yeah, you never know.
It's good you mentioned the shirt. So I'm wearing, for anyone who's watching on YouTube or listening, I'm wearing the, what even season was this?
2010.
I'm wearing the old
2010, 11.
shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Netflight. But I have Speed number 11 on the back of it because obviously that was the same year Gary Speed died, so I went straight out that weekend and got Speed number 11 on the back. So we were just talking earlier about kind of funny names we had on the back of our jerseys. And Rocco, you actually very same as me. Although it's not a funny name for Gary Speed, but you got Speed as well, didn't you?
Yeah, that's the only one I've got. Went and got Speed, same as you. The reason why I'm
laughing. What about you, James? Do you ever have a name on your jersey?
I mean, this is why I was laughing because I knew this was coming. So I had Beanie on the back of a goalie shirt. Still got it somewhere. It's like a large boy's. I tried to squeeze into it the other year for a laugh as well. It was like trying to fit a duvet in a pillowcase, basically. But
is it the black one with all the colourful dashes on it?
It's that one. Yeah,
great top.
Yeah, it's a great top. But I think now just to hit pro tennis style, Darragh, to hit it over the net back to you. Who is it who's got an even worse name on the back of the shirt than that?
So the worst of the worst is my nephew. I'm going to have to call him out on this. Richie Cunningham, a la Happy Days. He was very, very enthused that a certain player coming in the January transfer window was going to fire us to promotion under Bielsa. So he's probably the only person in the world who has Augustine on the back of his jersey.
I would do my absolute best to just somehow chip off or iron off the IN on the end and just pretend my surname was August. Something like that.
I like the month.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Poor guy. If he's not been bullied before, he should be now.
We're going to have to get him to put a picture of it up on Twitter for us.
Oh, yeah, poor guy.
See if we can get him, even get 1,000 likes.
Please get that for us, Darragh, and we'll put it on Twitter. But bloody hell, poor guy. Right, yeah, sorry, the edit's going to be fun and it'll be interesting to see if this even works because I keep dropping out of this. But to Sunderland, talking Sunderland and Watford games coming up.
I have just seen that, really bad because I've just noticed that they've won 1 out of their last 10 games. So Dr. Leeds are going to come and sort that out for them, aren't they?
It would be the fear, wouldn't it? It would be the fear. For me, this is the beginning of the run-in. There's 15 games to go this season. We're sitting on 66 points. So it's 24 points to 90, which is 8 wins. That's all we need. 8 wins out of 15. We're on 90 points. Put that in perspective, Burnley would need 10 wins. And considering they love a 0-0 draw, not completely out of realms of possibility, but they're under pressure for every game they don't win. It's going to be a big shot in the arm. We've got that 5 points on them. So for me, as you mentioned earlier, James, we're pouring right now. We're in a groove. We're flying. Let's just keep it going. Just keep it going as long as we can. This could be wrapped up in 10 games. This could be literally wrapped up in 10 games if we just put in 10 solid performances.
Can you imagine if it was?
Watford.
I can't. I mean, last season, I don't think we could see ourselves slipping up, but we did. Can you see it this time? Do you think something bad could happen?
Oh God, yeah, bloody hell! we've been supporting Leeds for 30 years. Look, do you know what? Oh, I hate saying it, but I have to say it because it's what I honestly think. I was looking at the fixtures, and the next 5 are pretty tough, or tricky, but they are tough. And you know, we could all be in a massive panic. But our last 10 games, I mean, they're really favourable, and especially the last 4 or 5. I mean, you couldn't wish for an easier run-in. I mean, obviously it's not easy because we're under huge pressure, but I feel like we'll win 9 of the last 10. I think we'll fly to the line. I'm doing an Adam Forshaw.
We're going to romp it.
There you go. Live on Leeds. He said that.
And as I say, he said that on this podcast.
He did say it on this podcast, and then in some sort of media thing a bit later on, regretted it.
I don't blame him, but it was a mad thing to say. When I heard it, I went, no.
Yeah, it was mad, but it was brilliant, glorious. But when he said it, though, to be fair, I remember thinking, because we, as fans, we were all still very nervous. And when he said it, we were like, really? Like, it was good to hear it from someone that they were really confident within the club as well. You know, and I think because he was always injured, he spent a lot of time watching the state that the team were in and how they were training and how they were playing behind the scenes. And it came from someone who had kind of insight into really watching them. It wasn't just like a stupid comment. So, yeah, remember it well. Burnley keep drawing, that's in the note. Sheffield win, but they were outplayed at home. Apparently they were really poor in that game, weren't they? And the Sunderland draw did us a lot of favours as well. But Sunderland, I think, are... I'm nervous about that game on Monday, a week on Monday. But they feel a bit like the Ipswich of last year. They're sort of steady away, and you know they could be one that are up there. Well, they are up there, aren't they? And you know, at the end of the season, I think they'll still be in and around that last spot.
Yeah. I think if we beat them, we put them out of it.
Oh.
I think if we beat them, it's playoffs for them. So that's going to be a big game.
They've had a lot of late goals as well. I don't think they're anywhere
Ipswich
near as
had a
good
lot
as
of late
Ipswich.
goals.
They did, to be fair, they did, but they looked did look. I mean, not against us. They looked horrendous against us. That's why I was always convinced they'd fall apart. But against the other teams, they looked good. They had something quite special about them in a way. You know, some of the football they played, and they just tore through it. Sunderland have never really been like that. They've done well to keep up to this point. Not writing them off yet, obviously. But I was obviously more bothered about the Sheffield United game, and mainly Burnley, innit? They've made some good signings, actually, haven't they? They could become more dangerous, less 1-0s, potentially.
Yeah. Do we finish on comments on the transfer window, or did you cover that off when I was cut off?
Yeah. What do you think, James?
Well, I feel okay about it. I understand people and the point of view that, you know, just get the season buried and sign someone and make sure. You know, Ipswich made the Kiefer Moore signing, didn't they, in the January window last season, and that obviously helped them. But equally, I think going back to the point I made about us being so good and like playing so well, it's hard to argue what you're going to sign at this point that's going to make a difference. And it always takes weeks for a January signing to even settle in. And if they even do settle in, because it's always a gamble, I kind of see the justification for not doing it. But I also understand why people would want someone as well. So, yeah, I think we're all right. I think we're good with what we've got. Everyone else is trying to step up to a standard that's closer to Leeds. That's why they're signing players. So, yeah, I feel confident, not too worried about
it. Speaking of that, actually, this is maybe a good point to end on. I saw someone slagging off Giavogi on Twitter the other day, and I said, every squad in the whole world has a best player and a worst player. That's the way it is. That's the ranking of anything. And I said, to be fair, if Giavogi is our absolute worst player, what a championship squad we've built. Because he'd walk into every other squad in the league. But maybe wouldn't play if he would start every game. But he'd certainly make every squad in the league. So We've built a good squad. Let's just see it through now.
And for your worst player to have such a strong impact on the other players, that's a big thing, which you called out, Darragh, as soon as we signed him, actually.
Yeah.
How could he be for this squad? And, evidently that was, words of wisdom.
Yeah, he definitely did, Darragh. And there was a big Cooper and Dallas-sized hole left, wasn't there? So it needed someone like him to step in. So, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Great signing. Cool. Do we leave it at that? I think we do, don't we?
Yeah.
Well,
fingers crossed for Wednesday. Is it? No, Tuesday, isn't it?
So, yeah, hopefully we haven't cursed it and we get a good result against Watford and we'll keep the momentum going. Never an easy game going down there, but I'm feeling more and more confident as we get close to the end of the season. Let's see how we are after the Sunderland game next week, because I think if we drop a point here and there, maybe lose against Sunderland at home, I think you'll start to see nerves kicking in for a lot of the fan base, but we'll see. I think let's just keep going, doing what we're doing, and we should be all right. But yeah, Darragh, Rocco, thanks ever so much. Thanks for covering me whilst my internet connection's been dying. So yeah, we'll see you again soon. Cheers, everyone.